As we first reported yesterday, San Mateo County is launching a new task force. It's aimed at improving the living conditions of farm workers and their families.
The mass shooting in Half Moon Bay that killed 7 farm workers uncovered conditions that the county describes as crowded and unsanitary. Ground Force Gaye has more on the work being done to address those issues.
Unfortunately, the tragedy has shed a light upon, but it was there. It always was there.
San Mateo County Supervisor Ray Mueller is talking about the living conditions at 2 Half Moon Bay farms, the sites of last month's deadly mass shooting. Supervisor Mueller toured the farms and shared these photos, calling the conditions deplorable. This week, county officials announced a new task force, including the county's planning and building department, county environmental health, and a district attorney. Their main task, to ensure hundreds of farms along the coast are in compliance with local and state housing rules and regulations.
And we actually already have had different landowners on the coast go ahead and start reporting that they have farm worker housing that needs to be inspected. So work has begun.
Supervisor Mueller says the work will take years.
What we're trying to look at is how we're improving our enforcement mechanisms so that we're always keeping an eye on this housing. Because what can happen over time is that even those who are permitted and compliant can go ahead and you can start to see codes start to slip over time.
Antonio De La Herrera Bruce with United Farm Workers says the county's new task force is the right response, but wants to remind consumers to be mindful of labor conditions.
We look for that organic label. We look for maybe local produce, but I think consumers want and deserve the right to know what were the working conditions of workers who were actually picking and producing that food that we then find on our grocery store shelves.
Meantime, the county is working to create farm worker housing if workers can't stay somewhere due to health and safety codes, but even that has challenges.
The unfortunate circumstance that we're confronting is that it's very hard to actually build housing on the coast, and our agricultural community is already pretty strictly regulated and doesn't always have access to funding. And so even if they want to build this housing, it can be very difficult for them to do.
Before the shooting, advocates have been pushing state and local officials for better living conditions, mental health services, and resources to help deal with excessive workloads. Gaye, Ground 4 News.